Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. It's late on a Tuesday night, which means it's time for this week's Top 10 Countdown. If you jump on here live, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. I'm going to do a college football top 10 this week because the last couple of weeks I did a couple of college football top 10 countdowns. I did one. Hey there, Austin. Glad to have you here. That was the top 10 quarterbacks heading into the 2025 college football season. Hey there, Marcus. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Hey there, Kevron. Thanks for jumping on here, buddy. I greatly appreciate it. I did one that was the top 10 quarterbacks heading to the season, and then I did one that was the top 10 running backs heading into the season. So that was specific, positions. Top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 running backs. Well, this week, we're doing the top 10 players entering the 25 season. So not just quarterbacks, not just running backs, just top 10 players. I'll watch it later on, Austin. So some of these names you've already heard if you watched the last two countdowns about college football, because a lot of these players are quarterbacks and running backs that were on that list. But some of these players were not on that list because they're not quarterbacks or running backs. So without further ado, let's take a look at the top 10 players entering the 2025 college football season. Now, I'm not going to tell you, if you're watching this live, who these players play for, because if you're just a casual college football fan, you should know, because if you're one of the top 10 players in America, no matter what school you play for and what spots you play on the field, you're going to get talked about. But if you're watching this live and you by some chance don't know who any of these players are, you can ask me in the comment section, and I'll be happy to tell you, but I'm sure you'll know all 10 of them. Number 10, Jeremiah. Love. Mine records automatically, Austin. Number 9, TJ Parker. Number 8, Sam Levitt. Now, that caught my attention because if you follow all the transfer portal stuff, you recently heard the name of Sam Levitt because supposedly he was going to transfer to Tennessee and take the spot of Nico after Nico transferred. But Sam Levitt is still at Arizona State, just like there was also a rumor that Rocco Becht was going to leave Iowa State and go to Tennessee. But last I checked this morning, Rocco Becht is still enrolled at Iowa State. So maybe Sam Levitt and Rocco Becht were never actually going to transfer, but Tennessee just thought they could offer the right money and they would transfer. But apparently it didn't work, at least in the case of Sam Levitt. Number 7, Dylan Stewart. Also, I try to watch every NASCAR race if I can. If not live on Sundays, I try to at least watch the replay when it comes on Mondays. And number 6, Arch Manning. Again, 10 through 6, Jeremiah Love, TJ Parker, Sam Levitt, Dylan Stewart, and Arch Manning. Number 5, Garrett Nussmeier. Number 4, Cade Klubnik. Number 3, Anthony Hill. Number 2, Caleb Downs. Hey there, Eddie. Glad to have you here. And number 1, Jeremiah Smith. So if you watched my top 10 countdowns on quarterbacks and running backs, you've already heard 7 of the 10 names on this list. The only 3 players on this list that are not a quarterback or running back are T.J. Parker, Dylan Stewart, and Anthony Hill. Caleb Downs is listed as a wide receiver, but he also is kind of going to be one of those scat back type fellas. But, you know, Jeremiah Love is a running back. Sam Levitt's a quarterback. Arch Manning, of course, is a quarterback. Garrett Nussmeier's a quarterback. Cade Klubnik, quarterback. And Jeremiah Smith is a wide receiver. So a lot of those names you've already heard, but I figure since I've already did a top 10 countdown on quarterbacks and a top 10 countdown on running backs, I would just do a top 10 countdown on top 10 players in general, regardless of position. And I think I told you that last night, Austin. I wasn't sure the date, but I thought it was the last weekend in May. And it is. You know, they used to do a lot of their premium live events the same weekend as WWE's, but now outside of, you know, the big ones like Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and SummerSlam, usually NXT has their own premium live events on their own weekend, not the same weekend as the WWE premium live events. Hey there, Fulton. Glad to have you here. And by the way, Austin, Julia and Roxanne Perez have apparently been called up to the main roster. They've been talking about Roxanne Perez getting called up for 3 or 4 months now. So it finally happened. Julia should have been called up forever ago. She should have debuted on the main roster. She was a phenomenal wrestler. And I do remember you, Antonio. Thank you so much again for stopping by. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Make sure you share the video on all social media platforms and like the video and give the video a thumbs up. I'll try to do some more top 10 countdowns about college football before the season. But now that we've did, you know, quarterbacks and running backs and top 10 players in general, which 8 of the 10 players on this list are offensive players. And this day and time, the game is so much about offense that I really don't know if anybody cares at all about defense. But I'll try to focus more on that as we get closer. But I still have to talk about wide receivers and maybe even tight ends, and maybe even kickers. I want to give the kickers some love. So any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. I think they're both going to Raw, Austin. Don't quote me on that, but I think they're both going to Raw, but I could be wrong. But I read the article early this morning, and I want to say it said they're both going to be on Raw, but I could be wrong on that. But let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Technically, all the money you have ever spent on food has been flushed down the toilet. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.